Did I take my meds at the right time? At least once a day I run into this question. Sometimes the question is followed by a chin rub, a thoughtful stare into space, and then is repeated to whoever is in the room with me. At this point in my life, that would likely be our Conure bird Kiwi or my wife. Our kids are adults now, as our youngest left home about 4 years ago. Kiwi, although a lot of fun to be around, isn't that helpful on this topic. Where's Kiwi? There's Kiwi Kiwi. There's Kiwi. There you go. Woo! I take my first pills at 7 a.m., then every 3 hours until bedtime, which is usually around 9 or 10 p.m. at night. Although we don't track each other's medications very well, my wife is more helpful on this topic than Kiwi. For reminders, my wife likes to use her Google timer, while I like to use the question of, when was the last time I had a drink of water? I like to use that method because it does give me a physical memory if I have taken them with a drink. And it also helps me to remember to hydrate because we as Parkies apparently need to keep on top of that. While I was still working as an overhead door technician, I would often go out to small jobs on my own, and I would also act as a sort of technical support agent for other techs in the company just based on my experience level. If the questions came fast and furious, it would slow down whatever job I was doing, which was fine. It was just the way things were. One day, though, I had so many calls that I ran into my own technical support issue of, did I take my medication on time? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. I couldn't remember if I had a drink of water. I went back and forth for 5 to 10 minutes until I finally decided I hadn't, so I'd better. 10 minutes later, I had that sinking feeling and remembered that, in fact, I did take them when I went out to the van to look at an operator manual. One of our other techs asked me to check to help out with his diagnosis. I panicked. What should I do? Should I throw up? Probably not. Call my doctor? No, he will never pick up. Call my wife? No, I don't want to worry her. I did the most logical thing a man would do. I decided to ride it out and see what would happen. Now, I am not recommending that anyone do that at all, because it's not a good idea to double up on your meds. I did become quite nauseous, but boy oh boy I felt like a teenager again, and whipped off that job in record time. Like I didn't have Parkinson's anymore, like I'd never heard of the disease. I felt I could leap the tallest building and then pick up a car with one hand. Why don't the doctors give me this dose all the time, I wondered. I knew the answer when I came crashing down off my dopamine high. That's why, I realized, and yes, I finished the day off safely and got home just fine. I did not feel well the next day at all. Having so many different types of bonus pills and supplements to take in the morning and night is such a pain because there are so many bottles to open and close. Also, when I am off, I tend to drop them on the floor. To make the process easier and efficient and to avoid having to go down on my hands and knees to find every last pill, because if I don't, Kiwi will come for them as she thinks they are a treat. To stay organized, I like to use these handy, colorful pill separators to make sure I get my proper meds on time all the time. I'm sure many of you have heard that saying before. I like to put out 3 weeks of meds at a time. I would do more, but I found that 4 weeks ahead is just too many because it doesn't give me enough time to call my doctor for refills if I'm running out of a particular prescription or to keep up with my supplements. One day about 9 months ago, I mixed up the colors and accidentally took my bedtime pills in the morning the day after my first COVID shot. I was pretty messed up. I ran into the same scenario as before. I panicked. What should I do? I didn't throw up or call my doctor. I did tell my wife though, and she said she would keep an eye on me after I decided to write out my mistake again. As I laid down to have another sleep, I thought I would be okay, as my sleeping pills hadn't worked that well the night before, since I had actually only slept around 5 hours. The self-inflicted problem that I ran into with this scenario, though, was that now my brain was expecting my daily meds on time all the time, and my brain was very mad at me because it demanded those regular daily doses, which I did take. It was also expecting a minimum amount of exercise, which it did not receive. So while I had a great nap at first, it became a bit of a torture session. And when I came to take my bedtime pills again, my body was like, seriously? You think we're going to go to sleep again, do you? Which we didn't. Looking back, it wasn't a whole lot of fun either. To take my regular daily doses, I use this handy little pill bottle that I take with me wherever I go. I just mix the yellows and pinks together. It really doesn't matter to me. They are both the same medication. One is just instant and the other is just a slow release. When I lived on the coast, I could leave extra stash wherever I went, at work in all of the vans and in the office. I found, though, that I could only leave them for 3 to 4 months maximum, and they would begin to crumble and not work as well. In the Okanagan, I have found that you can't leave them in the heat for long at all. They crumble so quickly. So I've had to take them out of my car, and there is no regret to leave them at work. About 6 months ago, I was grappling with some progression issues with my symptoms and whether or not I should continue to work full-time, which was becoming difficult to do. The situation was not an easy one to solve, and I became very distracted, to the point that I forgot to take my pills with me to work a couple of times. Oh, not a good situation, as the commute is around 50 kilometers. You see, my meds have been increased over time to help deal with my symptoms, so when I forget my meds now, it's become a big thing. The first time I ended up having to go to another pharmacy to get an emergency dose for the nearest branch of the pharmacy I was using, which delayed my dose 90 minutes, at which point my head was pounding to the point of almost having a migraine. Apparently, asking the pharmacist to hurry doesn't help, because you just distract them from what they are doing and it ends up taking longer. Believe me, I know. The second time I forgot them, my in-laws drove them halfway to work and I met them and was only delayed 45 minutes, which wasn't as bad. But driving when I am off is not a whole lot of fun, and I just couldn't expect my in-laws to come to the rescue every time I forgot. I'm a big boy.
Quick, quick. Yeah, big girl. Oh, big girl, big girl. You big girl, big girl?
Thank you, Kiwi. I am getting better at remembering if I have taken my pills on time, because if I am 10 minutes late now, my body starts to feel funny and I have trouble moving. Now, whenever I go to my 1 day per week of work, my wife has put up reminders everywhere, including the fridge, the front door, and in the car, and of course, she reminds me before I go to bed. Now I put my pills inside my work bag the night before. It's the best way to remember. You need to use whatever method works for you. Medicate good times. Come on. If you've made it this far, then I thank you for listening to my story. If there is a part of it that you can relate to, or if you have had a time that you had a funny mix-up with your medication, please leave a comment below and let me know what it was. I look forward to hearing about it. I plan to post more videos like this that I hope others with Parkinson's are interested in. For now, I'm going to post once per week on Thursday mornings. If it works out and I may be able to move it up to twice per week, but it's more important for me that I put out well thought out videos rather than just quantity. I've decided not to ask for likes or subscribes like I did in the beginning, as I feel people don't need reminders, as everyone does know the drill. But I will keep the end screens on for now, as I do like the video suggestions. If you have something you would like me to cover, let me know in the comments below. I hope we can take this journey together. Thank you and have a good day.